Hello, and thanks for clicking on the video. For this video, something new has arrived. At the time of this recording, Star Wars Legion has just released this customizable Jedi set, so I'm going to be making my own Jedi. I'll always jump at the opportunity to put my own creative spin on something, and so this set is perfect for someone like me. The first thing I have to do is weigh up my options, so I'm going to look at the sprues and see what pieces I want to choose. The set comes with 2 bases as it allows you to build 2 Jedi. However, I am also briefly going to talk about what you can do with the extra pieces, because there are lots of extra pieces in this. One of the main things you can customize for these Jedi are their heads, and there are 8 different head options. I cut out all of the heads because I wanted to test and experiment which heads I liked best on the bodies later down the line. And I think it's really great that there's a good selection of alien heads in this set. Obviously, I think most people would want even more customization options if they could, but I still just think it's really nice that they even bothered to make a set like this. I went through all the other body parts and I chose all the pieces I think I wanted, and then it was time to do a rough mock-up assembly with some blue tack just to see what my characters would look like. When I was confident that I knew how all the pieces fitted together, I then began to glue everything into place with plastic glue. Adding only a small amount. One of the bodies has more clone armor on it, and the other is more of like a traditional Jedi robe body. And your main choices here are what you want to do with the arms and the lightsabers. For me, there was absolutely no question. I just wanted all the lightsabers. So one body got a double lightsaber and the other got 2. As far as I'm concerned, you can't have too many lightsabers. And that's why General Grievous is the coolest. One small thing that I would say about this set is that to create the 2 bodies in the way that I've done, they both end up with a very similar pose. If you were to use the other legs included, you would get a different pose and you could use a different basing piece for that. But because I've used similar posed bodies, I have to use similar base pieces. So the bases end up looking really similar because the poses are basically the same. This didn't really bother me too much, but if it bothers you, then you could definitely use the other legs. Before I primed everything, I just thought it'd be easier to go around with a very thin layer of texture paste to cover all the bare base areas that were visible around the tactical rock in the middle. And to create a small bit of differentiation, I decided to cover one of the bases with much more texture paste over the tactical rock to try and hide some of the details and make it look a bit different than the other one. I then tested the feet to make sure I knew how they stuck to the bases and glued them into place. I wanted to briefly talk about that 3rd set of legs and what you might be able to do with it. So I looked at some of my other Legion kits and I found this Anakin body that I had spare. I think it actually wouldn't take that much effort in your kit bashing to try and make these pieces work together. So that is one thing to pay attention to. If you have another body from another Star Wars Legion kit that you want to use, you probably could make a 3rd Jedi character from this. With the bodies built up, I now wanted to test each head to see what they would look like, and to give you a bit of a showcase of what each head looks like. This is one of the human heads from the box art. This is another option for a human head. This is the 3rd human head. This one's got a nice pointy beard, which makes him look like a wizard. The first of the alien heads is a Rodian, just like Greedo. And the second of the alien heads is a Biff. These guys famously play the cantina music in A New Hope. And this one's just really tall. It's a big, tall head. Next up is the classic Twi'lek head, and I was really tempted to pick this one. But the last 2 heads I haven't shown are the 2 heads that I'm going to choose, and the first of those is the male Twi'lek head. We've seen a fair few male Twi'leks in Star Wars, but never really as a Jedi on screen, so I thought this would be a really interesting thing to explore. For my second Jedi, I went with the 4th human head, but I'm going to try and do something interesting with this head, and I'll explain what that is as I come to paint it. I'm going to start with the Jedi with the double lightsaber and the robes to begin with, and the first thing I did was cover the whole thing in a light grey primer. I then chose the 2 main colours that I wanted to use on this model, and I began to apply them in the different areas to see what they would look like. I've done this in some of my previous videos, but my plan was to lay down all of the base coats first to see how the colours work together, and then I can always change the base coats if I need to, and it's much easier to do that before I do any highlighting or shading. And honestly, I'm glad I did this because I did end up shifting my colours around a bit. Grey is a fairly unusual colour for Jedi robes, but we have seen it in a few different things, and so I really wanted to use it here. And a classic beige colour I thought would just look very Jedi-like, so I went with that too. Pretty much all the Jedi we see have a dark brown set of boots and belt, and that feels very much like part of the Jedi identity to me, so I didn't want to change that. So with those base coats applied, this is what the miniature looks like, and now it's time to paint the skin. And there's something that I mentioned earlier that's going to make this a bit different, is that I'm going to use blue. In Star Wars, there are a load of aliens that look just like humans, but basically have different skin colors. And so for this character, I wanted to make them a Pantoran, which is an alien that we sometimes see in some Star Wars stuff that has blue skin and yellow face markings. And my base coat for this was Imperial Blue from Vallejo Game Color. Looking at the model with its base coats, I didn't think the colors were quite right. I thought there was a bit too much gray. So I tried introducing another brown, but I didn't like it that much. So I swapped things around once again, and I got this. The key difference here is that there's now a much brighter, whiter beige in the middle, and I used the beige that I used before on the sleeves and the knees. Then, just for the sake of seeing the whole composition, I added a base coat to the base just to see what that color would look like. At this stage, I just got straight into highlighting the model, and I basically worked up from my Imperial Blue to Sunrise Blue, which is also from Vallejo Game Color, and just began to make mixes in between them, gradually increasing in brightness till getting up to pure Sunrise Blue. And then for the final highlight, I went a little bit brighter by adding a bit of white to my Sunrise Blue. After dotting the eyes with a tiny bit of white, I then used a very light grey called Brigade Grey from the Army Painter Fanatic range, and I applied this to all the raised strands of hair to pick them out. Straight after doing the hair, I then moved on to the robes, and I decided to start highlighting those. For some reason, I found it really tough to shade and highlight these grey parts of the robe. I just couldn't mix the right colours, and I couldn't blend it all right, but I persevered, and eventually got something that I thought was good. Not amazing, but good. So maybe one day in the future I'll go back and I'll try and fix it up again. Because that is the wonderful thing about our hobby. You don't have to say that miniature is finished. You can always go back to it and paint over, or strip it and paint it again later. My goal here was essentially to take the graphite base coat and add a bit of black to it to make shadow colours, and to add some light grey, in this case Brigade Grey, to my graphite to make some highlight colours. I wanted to apply the highlights on the top of the creases of the folds and put the shadows in the recesses between the folds. Next up, I began highlighting all of the dark leather parts like the belt and the boots. And to do that, I worked on top of my Rhinox base coat with Doomball Brown and then Scrag Brown to go even brighter, which all happen to be Citadel paints. For the boots, because they are cylindrical in shape, I decided to just draw my highlight as a line down the center and the middle. And then with some highlights down, this is what the model looked like. One thing that stood out to me as missing was in the center of the chest, in the light creamy part, I needed to add some shadow lines in the recesses to create some separation and some definition. And then I applied a nice thick layer of white paint all over the lightsabers to get them ready for the color that would go over the top. For the hilt of the lightsaber, I covered everything in black because I knew I'd be using metallic paints and they cover better over a black base coat. And while I had black on my paintbrush, I decided I would try and dot the eyes to give them a pupil. I say this a lot, but the eyes on this miniature are so tiny. This was crazy, but I got massively lucky and managed to dot these eyes with a tiny little black dot that looked like that. In an effort to try and keep the bases simple, I added a wash of Agrax Earthshade all over the brown base that I'd already painted. This would give me a really good punch of contrast and some nice dark shadows on the base. I then used dark silver and silver from Pro Acryl to base coat and highlight the metal parts. And for my favourite moment of this paint job, I love to add a big burst of colour over the lightsabers. And for this one, I went for a green double lightsaber. Finishing up with the last few details, I decided to add those yellow Pantoran marks to the face. And then off camera, I highlighted the base with some lighter browns and I added in some white lines on the lightsabers. Now it's time to look at the second Jedi, and I've already base coated and painted the metallic parts of this miniature because I already had the metals out on a different palette, and it just made sense to do it at the same time. In my head, I had a much clearer idea of the colours that I wanted to use on this Jedi, so even though I did do the same thing and I did the base coats, I didn't really play around with them very much. I pretty much just kept with what I went with initially. This time I used charred brown from Vallejo to cover the robes. To keep the belt and the boots a dark brown, but to differentiate them from the robes, I used brigandine brown from the Army Painter Fanatic, which is slightly more desaturated and would help those parts look a bit different. In the Clone Wars, Anakin has this bluey tinge to some of his robes, and so I wanted to do a similar thing here. To achieve that, I literally just mixed some of my dark Imperial blue into the charred brown that I used for the robes. And it gave me this dark, purplish, bluish colour. To base coat all of the clone armour, I used graphite once again. Painting white can be quite tricky, so often I apply base coats that are more of a normal grey, because you can always leave those in the shadows as nice dark recesses, but you can always apply lighter greys over the top, working up to a white. Speaking of white, I applied white all over the lightsabers, and once again that was for preparation for whatever fluorescent paint I was going to add over the top of them. For the skin on this character, I decided to take some inspiration from a character from the Clone Wars called Cham Syndulla, and he has an orangey, yellowy brown skin, so I wanted to do something like that on my guy too. I began with highlighting the robes, and I used light brown to mix into my charred brown to create lighter highlights that I could add sequentially to increase the brightness. And this particular mix just worked really well. As I applied my highlights to smaller and smaller areas, the colours just really worked well, and I was really happy with how these robes turned out. As I added my final highlight, which was pretty much pure light brown, I made sure to only add that to some tiny areas and as little edge highlights, leaving plenty of the previous brown layers that I've added visible. I found highlighting the bluish brown parts much harder because I'd started with a mixed base coat, and so I didn't really know how I was creating my highlight up. In the end, I added some blue, I added some ice yellow to it, but I ended up with more of a grey highlight than I did a blue highlight. I'd work on fixing that later, so for now I just moved on to highlighting the belt part that I covered in that brigandine brown. To highlight this, I just worked up through Army Painter Fanatic browns, so leather brown and then paratrooper tan. I took quite a large jump in contrast for my first highlight on the clone armor, and I used Brigade Grey from the Army Painter Fanatic range. Admittedly, applying highlights to the legs was really tricky because a lot of them are downward facing, so I wasn't exactly sure what would be in the light, what would be in sort of a half light or shadow. This is where the box art came in to help me a little bit, as I could kind of see where highlights were on that artwork. Highlighting the arms was much easier though, because they're just basically cylinders, so I could apply my highlight down the middle. And with the first highlight on the armor, this is what I had on the miniature so far. I made a mix between the Brigade Grey and the graphite base coat so that I had an intermediate grey that I could use to smooth the transitions. I then applied this around all the areas that I just applied the Brigade Grey. To finish the armour, I added pure white in a very small amount on top of my Brigade Grey. It's very hard to see under the lighting I've got here, but hopefully in the final shots, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Painting the skin on this Twi'lek was really fun, and the colours I chose for this were to start with a dark flesh tone base coat from Vallejo Game Colour, and then I added Parasite Brown, also from Vallejo Game Colour, into that to make some mixes that were brighter and more yellowy orange, and I applied that all over the raised areas of the face to try and create some definition. Once I had worked up to pure Parasite Brown, to go beyond Parasite Brown, I added some Sunset Orange to the mix to make it even brighter and more orangey yellow. For painting a face like this, I think it's always good to have references, so I used some references online that helped me identify the areas where I should add my highlights and start building them up. And then once I'd raised those highlights up significantly with my Sunset Orange, I applied some white for the eyes. And then carefully dotted them, and I actually ended up working a lot of off camera on these eyes to create definition around the eyes and to lower the initial black pupils that I made, which were probably a bit too big. To make the two bases between these models look different, I decided to use green browns on this one. And this turned out to be a really good base mix. So I used olive green and a bit of black for a base coat. Then I used AK 3rd Gen's green grey and grey green. Well, it might be the other way around. Grey green and green grey. I thought the perfect colour for the lightsabers on this character would be blue. I did consider making his lightsabers two different colours, but in the end I just thought the blue would work really, really well against the orange of the skin. The last thing I quickly did was add a blue ink over the top of those greyish parts to make them more blue. And then with some tiny tweaks off camera, it's time to look at the final miniatures. For the Pantoran Jedi here, I actually really like the colours I've chosen. I really like that I chose to make this a Pantoran, and I love the green lightsaber and that it's a double lightsaber as well. If I'm being honest, some of the blending here is a bit rough, and so I could spend a bit more time in the future going back and blending that a bit better. But as for the Twi'lek Jedi, I just think things worked so much better here. The blends, especially on the skin, are much smoother, and I really, really like the robes. I could probably work on the Clone Troop armor a little bit more to make smoother transitions on that. But overall, really, really happy with this one. If you want to make your own Jedi, I definitely recommend picking up this set from Star Wars Legion. Thanks very much for watching the video. Have a great day, and I hope you'll join me for the next one.